Hello, I'm Matt Frawley, and this is Mathey Talks. And today I am very excited to have Jan Runkle with us. Part of the reason I started Mathey Talks was to get some of the great stories here at Princeton better known. There's a lot of people who are doing some amazing things, and quietly and without any fanfare. And today I just want to applaud the great work of a really special person, and that's Jan Runkle. Jan retired in 2013 as the Associate Director for Administration at UHS, McCosh Services, and we haven't been able to get rid of you, right?
No, right.
So before we get going, we have to talk about your hair. So last night was the Oscars, and you were getting your hair cut today. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired the streak of purple?
Yeah, I had this done on Friday,
Friday
and
before
it was
Oscars.
Before the Oscars. I think it was Lady Gaga. I think she's just wonderful as far as her music, her new music, doing jazz, and her performance last night at the Oscars. And she's such a real person. She doesn't take herself too seriously. She's not ashamed of how she dresses. Now, not that I'm going to have a meat dress someday, but I just felt like I wanted to do something a little sassy, and so I did it.
And the trumpet tattoo, is that coming later?
No tattoos.
Okay.
I had thought about it, but no tattoos.
Okay. And as I said, I was also inspired by Lady Gaga and did a flesh tone streak.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? Yeah. I think people might look at me and think I'm bald, but it's really the hair coloring.
It's lovely. And now a tattoo would look
right
well
there?
with it,
What should I
yes.
put on there? Maybe the Mathey College
Oh,
crest?
that's it, the crest, yeah.
That'd be good. That'd be devotion.
Well, you are devoted, so.
Anyway, well, enough of that. I want folks to know about your life because it is incredible. So can you tell us about it?
Sure. I think you and I were talking one day before an ACC committee meeting, and we spent some time.
The Alcohol Coalition Committee.
Correct.
Right.
And we spent some time talking about it. To me, it's just regular. It's what I lived. But I grew up in Trenton, and I went to Catholic schools. When I finished high school, I decided to enter the Mercy Convent to become a Mercy nun. And I spent 2.5 years.
Is that located?
It's located in it still is, yeah, North Plainfield, New Jersey, in the Watchung Mountains.
Okay.
Beautiful, St. Mary's. And after 2.5 years, I realized that I didn't regret that I did this. But I realized this wasn't for me. So I left, and a few months later, I started nursing school at St. Francis Hospital in Trenton, and I was there 2 years and got my degree. I got my diploma. And I started working as a nurse at the bedside. I quickly realized if I wanted to advance, I needed a BSN. So I started going to Trenton, the College of New Jersey at night, and I finished that up in it took a lot of years. When I have to tell you, I have the disease of alcoholism, and I started drinking alcoholically when I was 21 because I didn't drink in the convent. I waited till I left, and right away I crossed that line, as people say.
And did something just cause that? Yeah, third one. Looking for words. Precipitate that, or
a drink.
Right.
For me,
Just
my
one.
first drink
set
me off. I was drunk that night, and you know, I could never get enough. So for 14 years, I drank alcoholically. My career in nursing continued an upward trajectory. I became a nurse manager. I became an administrator for a while in a hospital in Hamilton. Then I came to Princeton. I was working at Princeton Medical Center. And I kept advancing, even though my alcoholism was also advancing. At the age of 27, I met a fella, and I married him. I knew I wasn't in love with him,
Mm-hmm.
but I was too terrified that he would be my only chance.
Mm-hmm.
So we got married, and after 2.5 years, you see a pattern here, we separated and eventually divorced.
Mm-hmm.
So at the age of 33, I decided that I was in serious trouble with my alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
I was as low as I wanted to go.
Now, can I just ask you there, because obviously you're probably trying to hide this,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
trying to cover yourself at work. Were you seeing lapses at work, or were other
Yes.
people noticing that as well?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, I was out sick a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
I had hangovers every day, so I was not a worker among workers.
Mm-hmm.
I was causing my coworkers a great deal of hardship because
Mm-hmm.
they had to cover my position. They had to have another nurse there. I was a nurse manager on a critical care floor, and it was very, very difficult for my coworkers. But I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the vortex of this disease, you're the center of it, and you really don't think about anybody other than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So, at 33, I decided I didn't decide. I just couldn't go on. I had not lost my job yet. That was coming. I hadn't gotten a DUI yet. That was certainly, I should have many times, but I didn't. I was full of despair, full of self-loathing, guilt for what was happening. And so I reached out to someone I knew who was sober, who had gone through what I went through, and she helped me become involved in a 12-step program. And that was 34 years ago. And not through my own doing, but through the people in the 12-step program, and through the grace of a higher power, I remain sober.
So can I ask you another question? So you talked about being in the vortex, and it's all about you, but is there that little person inside there saying, what are you doing? This
Yes.
is crazy? And then does that person inside you get some kind of, were you getting any promptings from outside, from people trying to reach out, try to help you?
Mm-hmm.
Which you probably don't listen to at first,
Right.
but then eventually it sinks in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I had a physician I was close to, and a nurse attempt an intervention, and I lied my way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to protect my guilt. I had to make sure I could still drink. I wasn't ready to give up when they had the intervention, and that happened on 2 occasions. I had people in my life. A roommate that I was living with said to me, I think you're an alcoholic. And I said, oh my God, no way. And so I hid my drinking at that point. I didn't drink in front of her. I really kind of went underground until I got my own apartment alone. It's not a great disease, believe me. There's only 3 things that happen with it. You either get sober, which thank God I did.
Mm-hmm.
You end up in an institution. It might be prison, I have a good friend that's in prison for a DUI that killed someone. A young woman with young kids, she's in prison. Or you die. So those 2 other options are not, they're not very good. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to find my way to sobriety. It is the most important thing in my life today. I would never do anything that I thought could compromise it in any way. So I got sober, and life really just started to happen. I left the bedside clinical nursing, and I went into the business side of healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
I became the Assistant Director of Materials Management at the Medical Center of Princeton for a couple years, and I had to learn everything. I knew nothing about it, but I certainly did. I learned, and then I went to New Jersey Hospital Association as the medical surgical contract manager for all the hospital, a group purchasing organization they had for the hospitals in New Jersey, and managed those contracts. And I was only there about 10 months, and I was recruited by a startup consulting firm, private firm. And it was very frightening to me to leave what I saw as a secure job, good salary, benefits, to go to this consulting firm. And I had benefits, and I had a pretty much a lateral move salary-wise. But since I was only the 9th employee, so you didn't know if they were going to make it or not. But I took the chance, and I was there 12 years. I ended up as a senior vice president, managed offices across the United States. We consulted to hospitals in the US and Canada, and it was just wonderful. But after 12 years traveling all the time, I met the love of my life, a woman. I am a lesbian. And I didn't want to be away as much. So I left that job. I worked for 2.5 years at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital as the director of purchasing, and wanted to work here at Princeton University. I lived in Princeton by that time, had for many, many years. And so I went on the website every week, and position for business manager of McCosh Health Center was up there, and I applied, and I got the job. And I have to tell you, Matt, it was, what a way to end a career. It was the best job I've ever had. I met people like you. These wonderful, wonderful students. Being with the Princeton University students was exhilarating for me. I managed a few programs where I interacted with students on a daily basis. And the special needs program and the golf cart MTV program. And I had a wonderful boss, Janet Finney, who really let me shape the job. Other than the original duties that they wanted done, I could expand it to meet my skill sets. And I'm very much a people person, and being with the students was absolutely heartwarming for me, for the most part. Every once in a while it wasn't heartwarming, but I had wonderful people I work with. Peggy Kopliner at the front desk, all the front desk staff, Jan Neglia, Dr. Neglia, who's got a heart bigger than this room, a gift of giving. Sarah Ingraffia, the Director of Employee Health, who while it sounds like she only ministers to employees, she's also there for the students. And those two women have a great gift of giving. I made wonderful friends. And so when I retired in July of 2013, I actually, let me backtrack, a program kind of organically developed in 2007 because I went to 12-step program meetings in the area, in the Princeton area. I met some of our students who were there for the same reason I was, to get sober. And we'd have coffee after the meeting or meet for dinner. And I said to the students, would you like to come together as a group at school and talk about the hurdles of getting and staying sober on Princeton University campus? And they immediately said yes. So there were, the initial, the beginning, there were 2 graduate students and 7 undergrads, and then some alum in the area. So there were a total of 12 students and/or alum who were sober. And then there were 2 other administrators who were sober. And we went to Vice President of Campus Life, Janet Dickerson, and pitched our idea. Said, do you think there'd be any funds to pay for one dinner where we could come together and talk about this? And Vice President Dickerson immediately jumped at it and said, absolutely. So we had a wonderful dinner, initial dinner in Prospect. In the evening, a lovely dinner. And the kids just got really excited. They all knew each other because they saw each other at meetings, but they felt this was another resource for them to stay sober. And they exchanged cell phone numbers and our cell phone numbers, and they said, you know, can we do this again? And it became a monthly dinner, and not at Prospect. We went from Prospect to boxed lunch dinners, and we met in Murray Dodge in 2007, every month during the academic year, and we all loved it. We all loved it. This was not a 12-step meeting. This was a time to talk about what it's like to be on campus during Vicar and pickups and lawn parties, and you know, how many of them were in an eating club, and were they going to the eating club while they're trying to get sober? And they weren't, by the way. They just made that decision themselves. Nobody told them to. It almost became a family. It was just really wonderful. And as students graduated, they were the ones that came up with the name Recovery Act. They said it was truly a student-driven idea, and they said, let's have an email, anonymous email. So if students are trying to get sober or thinking about it, they can email, and the email comes to me. They can email and ask if there's any help for them, and with their permission only, I will give their email to another student, usually a male with a male, female with a female, and they can get in touch with each other. And then, of course, they're invited to the dinners. And in 7 years, there's been 20 people who have gone through this, I don't even know if it's a program, but this dinner that we have. And they are sober today. I'm still in touch with all those 20 people. Some of them are in different countries. They're kind of peppered throughout the United States. They have gone on to pursue their dreams, and some of them are married. It's very good. We are in touch probably 3 or 4 times a year. I've been invited to weddings, and I feel like they're in my heart. And so it's still going today. And there aren't 12 people. There's 4 people. Every year there's been 1 or 2 people at least, and a few people that come in and out, and that's fine. The students they don't have to be in recovery to come to Recovery Act. They can be thinking about it. They can be saying, you know, I'm in trouble all the time. My DSL says, you know, you have to clean up your act. You're in trouble here. And they can be referred by the director of student life. They can be referred by a counselor, or they can see I should have brought one, postcards.
We'll have it on the screen
good.
here.
Postcards that are around the colleges, certainly in McCosh Health Center, and email. And it's absolutely 100% confidential. Mm-hmm. I do not report to any, I never did, even when I was still employed, to counselors or administrators about students that are coming or what they say. The only time there would be, I would say anything is if the student was in danger of harming themselves or others, and that certainly hasn't been the case. So it's confidential. The 3 administrators, one of them has left the university, but there's still 2 of us that are there as kind of an adult presence to offer suggestions only, mm-hmm. not to tell students what to do. It's very relaxed, and I hope it continues. I've continued to do it, and I'm happy to reach out to do that for students. Princeton has become a very special place for me. So the little I can do to help students, especially in this area, I'm more than happy to.
So before we end, let's go through the process one more time. So if I'm a student, and I think this might be a good thing for me, I email recovery@princeton.edu, and then what happens from there?
I'll get that email.
Mm-hmm.
I'll answer the email, tell them a little bit about the Recovery Act program or dinner. I'll ask them if I have their permission, because I tell them there's students in there, and if they would like to talk to another student, with their permission, I'll give the other student their email, and then they get in touch with each other. I step out of the picture until it's dinner time. And then I will send an email out with a menu for them to make a choice. We meet once a month.
So it's still the box?
Yep, still the box. Still the box dinner. I have to say, after Vice President Dickerson left,
Mm-hmm.
I had to find some funding.
Mm-hmm.
And so UHS Janet Finney stepped right up, and she takes care of the lunches, the dinners, and Allison Bowden in Religious Life gives us the room. She always makes sure we have a room.
Mm-hmm.
It's private, so that it's not students walking in and out. So ORL and UHS has joined with Recovery Act to keep this going. And you know, if for some reason we couldn't find a room, or we could find something in a local church, and we'd do that.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, and again, I just want to thank you for just, again, you don't promote yourself, you're not out there for any kind of accolades, you just quietly have had this amazing impact. I've really enjoyed working with you, and I really thank you for your continued support for students here in need. So thank you, and just thank you for taking the time to talk to us this morning.
Thank you.
All right.